I hope you guys heard that because I didn't. Heyo and welcome to the Galaxsi Scrum. I'm your host Matt and welcome to our weekly live stream, or so far not so good of weekly live streams because Alfred decided to do something about that last week. Honestly, I could have streamed last week, but honestly, I didn't want to butcher it if I'm being completely honest. But welcome back to the second round of the Galaxsi Scrum. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. And we are here today to talk about the footy and talk about everything to do with the rugby league. I'm going to give a shout out to the people that are already here. That is only Pancake right now. And I'm also going to be trying to read chat when I need to. So if I don't read chat, I'm talking to chat. It sounds like you guys didn't hear it, so that sucks. I wanted to see if you guys could hear the, it's time. Anyway, Pancake's here early. And if you haven't already and you are listening to this either on YouTube, possibly Spotify, I am looking into it. It's a very good possibility we can get this on Spotify as well. I'm going to encourage you, hit that follow button or subscribe. I don't know what you call it on Spotify, but if you're on the YouTube channel, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel. We do this every week, potentially, and we are going to have guests. I have good news on the guest front. We have a guest confirmed for next week. I won't say who it is until before the stream, so I'm quite keen on that. So first things first, I just want to say as well, if there are people who super chat, we will stop the show to quickly read the super chat on the stream as well. I'm also going to make sure you guys can hear the music. YouTube, if you're watching this on Spotify afterwards, you shouldn't actually hear the music. But if you are on stream, you should be able to hear the music, which should be fine. But how is everyone? I hope everyone's having a great time. Follow on Spotify, I have been told, apparently. It is called follow. So, a couple of updates first. Mainly channel updates. So, first things first. For those who are wondering where the Storm Career Mode and Flock on the Block series are, I will confirm now that it still won't be for another week. However, I do have a recording session booked out for next weekend to record one of the finales of those series. So I am kind of really excited. If someone donated $500, that would be insane. But I'm probably not. We're probably never going to see that much money. But that's okay. We're just doing this for fun, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, so those series will resume very soon. I'm hoping I can get a good chunk of them done very, very shortly. The second thing is and that is memberships. I am in the process of finalizing the benefits. And I am quite keen to say that I will have some time next weekend to finalize the membership stuff. So you guys will be able to join the channel as members on the YouTube channel, by the way, if you're listening to this on an alternative way of podcast. So those are going to do it for the channel updates. Seriously appreciate you all supporting me during this time. If you guys also don't know, I do stream Rugby League Live 4 as well. And when it comes out this year, because since the last episode of the Galaxsi podcast, we have a confirmation that there is a video game coming out this year, which we are definitely going to be making videos on at some point. I've got some ideas for good videos as well, which we can do. Definitely want to do my wish list. I know a lot of YouTubers do that. My biggest scripts for Rugby League Live 4. That's a video I definitely want to do because I want to actually tell you guys what my biggest complaints about Rugby League Live 4 are. And hopefully they don't go into the next video game. And yeah, and also I do discussion videos as well. So if that is something you guys are keen on, be sure to subscribe. We actually uploaded one this week. And that is something we'll actually get into this podcast about. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start off with the round review. So this is basically where we go through every single game, report the scores, report any suspensions, and report any injuries. Now, I've taken the notable injuries and suspensions, so if any of the chat members find out, oh wait, he's missed one, please let me know because I would like to know that as well. Rugby has joined the chat. Hello, Rugby. Appreciate you joining in. He says, yo, by the way. And yeah, let's get into the game review. So starting off with the two Vegas games, we had the Raiders defeated the Warriors 30-8. Oh my goodness, that was a bit of a shock. I knew the Raiders would win that game, but holy crap, I didn't think they would go out and basically, I almost said something very naughty. I basically go out and destroy the Warriors. I didn't expect that. So holy crap. Then we have the Panthers defeated the Sharks. That was actually a pretty close game, but Penrith were just too good in the end. But that shows, we'll actually get into like the best and worst teams for this week as well shortly, but that shows, first of all, Penrith are always just too good because Penrith are Penrith. But Sharks, they have increased in quality and stuff in terms of their attack, which I'm quite excited to see how they go. We'll talk about them shortly as well when it comes to actually looking at the round reviews. Then we have mighty Brisbane Broncos representing in the 2025 away jersey. This is the 2024 version, but it's the 2025 same one. I love this jersey, by the way. Just want to say. They defeated the Roosters 14-50. That is absolutely insane. We have had a concede 50 already within the first 3 games of the round, which is absolutely insane. Someone also said, are we going to talk about the women's international game? We are not going to talk about that because that was just, yeah. I try and only focus on the NRL stuff at the moment. So, yeah, Roosters lost to the Broncos. Absolutely, good game. Good game of footy. For the Broncos, anyway. Then we move on. We go all the way back to Campbelltown Stadium. I think it's Campbelltown they played this game at. West Tigers, unfortunately, get the L, their first L of the season. Probably a lot more L's coming for them. That was brutal. I'm sorry. West Tigers lose to the Newcastle Knights 8-10. Bit of a lackluster game from the West Tigers, if I'm being honest. All this build-up of hype, and Jerome Luai hasn't delivered yet, but that might change next week. You never know. Then we go over to CommBank Stadium, which Rabbitohs won over the Dolphins, which I'm also going to add. Another team that I go for is the Dolphins. And if Jermaine Osako kicked all his conversions, Dolphins would have won that game. That's why I actually think we'll get into why I've tipped Dolphins to win their game later in the podcast. But I definitely think that was I feel like the better team actually lost that game, if I'm being completely honest. And I feel like just one player kind of let them down a little bit. And it was unfortunately Osako. It was a good game. Definitely a good game. Pancake Gamer and Sports says it was a good game. I think he's referring to the West Tigers game, if I recall correctly. Then we move on to, I think it's Jubilee Stadium, if it was at. The Dragons go down to the Bulldogs, 28-20. I believe I also saw a stat that this is the first time the Bulldogs have actually won a round 1 game in a while. So I'm pretty sure they haven't won a round 1 game in a while. So in 24, they lost to Para. In 23, they lost to Manly. I'm going through all the games now. In 22, they beat the Cowboys by 2 points. And then the last time they won before that, in round 1 was, they had the Storm at one point. They had the Storm twice in a row. Holy shit. It was 2016 against Manly. It was 6-28. And that's, I believe, when they had really good players. James Graham was still on their team. But that's insane. And Trent Barrett was the coach of the Manly Ring of Seagulls. Holy crap. No, Tigers won. Okay. We got a bit of clarification on that comment. Then we head over to Brookvale Over. Sea Eagles defeat the Cowboys 42-12. Another game that could have potentially ended up with 50 put on them, which I think the Cowboys got very super lucky that they didn't have 50 put on them. So, bit of a sigh of relief, Cowboys fans. And then we have the Storm defeating the Eels. The Eels scoring 18 points, while the Storm scoring 56 points. You couldn't let us have one round at the top of the ladder, could you, Melbourne? You just couldn't. Wow. Just wow. Also, might I add that the halftime score for that game was 46-6. Melbourne scored 46 points within the first half. That is insane. That is insane. Actually, I don't even think it was 46-6. I think they missed the conversion as well. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. But no, 46-6. They got it. Okay. They got it. But yeah, that was some absolute destruction of a round. Some expected results, but also some blowouts, if I'm being completely honest. Actually, all of these are not really that surprising, if I'm being completely honest. I think the scores that are surprising are the ones that had 50 put on them. Like, how do you get 50 put? Like, the Tigers are looking at that Storm v Eels game and be like, man, we're not even this bad. So, yeah, and then the ladder at the moment, currently in the top 8, in this order: Melbourne, Broncos, Manly, Sea Eagles, Raiders, Bulldogs, Panthers, Knights, and Rabbitohs. And the other team to have the 2 points is the Titans, due to the bye. If it's a Storm Broncos grand final, Pancake Gamers and Sport says, if it's a Broncos v Storm grand final, I'm going to die laughing. That would be a very interesting grand final. I wonder who would win that. I think that would really come down to the wire, that game. I feel like the Broncos would just slightly edge them a little bit. Just saying. But yeah, that's going to do it for the game reviews. Now, suspensions. From the Rabbitohs, we have Jack Whiten. 1 match for a careless high tackle, so Rabbitohs will be out Jack Whiten next week. Joseph Tarpany, a 2 match for a shoulder charge, so he'll be out from the Raiders next week. That's actually their skipper too, so that's actually a big loss. And Xavier Savage, a 1 match for dangerous contact. So two Raiders players going out. So that's going to be an interesting an interesting matchup. Whoever the Raiders have next. Just saying. I'm trying to rub it in there, if I'm being completely honest. And then injuries. We have Ryan Couchman, unfortunately, from the Dragons, ruptured his ACL. He's out for the season. That's absolutely insane. Victor Radley from the Roosters is under HIA protocol at the moment. So he'll miss at least 1 match, which is probably a match they need him, if I'm being completely honest. And then Tyrone Munro, Rabbitohs, collarbone injury, expect to miss 6 to 8 weeks. Quite insane. All right. So this now leads us to the round review of 2020, of our first round review of 2025. I try and post these at the beginning of the week. So if you guys are on my YouTube channel, go under my community post and you'll see all of the teams that won the award for the week. Alternatively, if you don't want to go on YouTube, you can also go on my Instagram and Facebook. They are there as well. Hey, my one of my videos is doing well. Yay. What did I come in on here for? Oh, I just want the community post, don't I? Yeah. Hold on. Let me bring this up. So, my best team. So, what I'll do in this segment of the show, the awards section, I will go through my round review and I will kind of talk to you about why I've picked them. So, round 1, my tips were 4 out of 8, which I actually got 50%, which I'm quite surprised. Pancake Gamer says, which video? The recent one, the one where we have a problem in the NRL. It's about 231 views. Pretty good. At the moment, so I did 4 out of 8 for tipping, which actually isn't bad. So good work. The best team I put for the Storm. I put the Storm, obviously. Almost had the Broncos, but Storm had to screw that one up. Then the Parramatta Eels are obviously the worst team. And then the surprise team, I've decided to go with the Raiders this week, which I knew they would beat the Warriors, but I didn't think they would beat them that well, if I'm being completely honest. So, by the way, guys, the best team is usually the best team that performed that week. I try and mix things up a bit, so I won't always go with the obvious answer. So this week I did go with the obvious answer, but in coming weeks I'll probably go with different answers. So one week you might see like the Tigers there. They're like, well, hang on a minute, what the heck? Well, you never know. Just my justifications. But I did want to kind of expand on this this concept that I've made in the round reviews from last year. So in this segment of the podcast, I'm also going to expand on some teams that could have actually made the best team in the entire comp, in the entire round. Sorry, not comp. For the best team, I obviously picked the Storm. However, Broncos, Penrith, and Sea Eagles made a case. But I ended up going with Storm because, like, how do you put 46 points on in one half? That's insane. I think the Storm are going to be really a bit hard to beat this year. I actually think that's why I picked them as the premier favorites. I really want the Broncos to win, which I actually think they have a chance, but I think the Storm are just too good. Pancake Gamer says, what's the Galaxy Scrum going to do in the Origin period? We're going to have a special episode on the Tuesday before Origin, and then we're going to have one on the Thursday after Origin where we review Origin as well. So there's actually 2 episodes that week. We'll have, and there'll be like 3 specials, like Origin 1, Origin 2, and Origin 3. Rugby got 5 out of 8. He got wrong the Sharks, Warriors, and Tigers. I think honestly, wow, you got the 2 Vegas games wrong. That's interesting. I don't know which ones I got wrong. I don't recall right now. I can actually find out, but I don't think I'm going to. But let's continue with the worst teams, the awards. So we're going to move on to the worst teams. Obviously I picked Parramatta, but the Roosters and actually the Cowboys have made cases as well for being the worst team for this week. And obviously when I say the worst teams, I obviously don't mean any offense to it, but it's just the stats, bro. Being completely honest. The surprise of the bunch is the Raiders. The Raiders just like I wasn't expecting them to go that demolition in Vegas for the first game. I didn't expect a demolition from them to the Warriors. The Warriors, like, sure, they've lost Sean Johnson and Tohu Harris, and I think they've lost a couple of others as well. But the fact that they've got James Fisher-Harris and they've got some good experienced players in their side now, but they still got smashed, which I feel like is a bit of a concern for the Warriors. I'm not going to say they're the worst team because I feel like obviously there's a lot of other cases that other teams have put, but like at the start of Vegas, like they were the worst, man. Like, come on. And then the MVP. So the MVP is a player I pick. At one point, I actually used to base it off the Super Coach and which player got the most points. And I usually pick from the top 3. This week, I have gone with Payne Haas. Payne Haas delivered an outstanding performance, cementing his MVP status for round 1. His impact on the field was pivotal in the Broncos' victory, showcasing his dominance and skills. I actually listened to a clip, I think from Willie Mason's podcast, that actually he basically said that someone now knows how to coach Payne Haas, which Michael Maguire should already have knowledge on how to do that because of Origin. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting perspective that he's actually given. Pancake Gamer 037, before anyone asks, there is 2 pancakes. But I don't think they're the same person. So let's just go with that. But yeah, I definitely also, and I saw a comment, by the way, this week. And just for anyone who is actually Muslim, happy Ramadan. I've learned, by the way, I used to say Ramadan, but it's actually Ramadan. So happy Ramadan. And Payne Haas is actually celebrating that as well. So the fact he's doing that while fasting, holy crap. Like, he's a beast. Like, he is actually a beast, if I'm being completely honest. Like, oh my goodness. And Paddy Carrigan made a case as well. However, Payne Haas, just outstanding this week. So yeah, I also want to quickly pull up the super coached points as well. Hopefully I don't have to log in because I am doing a super coach, but I'm not doing it publicly. So I'm doing it on, I want to get the players because I want to see who actually got the most points in round 1. Most points was actually Ryan Pappenhausen, which he almost got MVP. Daly Cherry Evans was also up there. Xavier Savage, which got suspended, which sucks. Tom Trbojevic. Yeah, and Clint Gutherson. Clint Gutherson in a losing team, by the way. Oh, actually, no. Christian Tupanu, I can't pronounce his last name, scored 128. That's the highest player in a losing team. Okay, guys, don't argue. Don't argue. Just get along. Just get along, okay? Just get along. You two can both be pancakes. It's fine. I've got two people arguing. Highest Bronco, by the way, by 1 point was Adam Reynolds. That's insane. That is insane right now. How good? How good? How good? It's good to see all the Broncos at the top. Paddy Carrigan, 93. That's insane. But yeah, does anyone in chat have anything they want to talk about in terms of this round? Any final remarks or anything like that? I am all ears right now. I can wait a couple minutes. I don't mind. I can cut this out of the podcast. It's fine. Any remarks about round one? Because we're going to get into some discussion points from the week. I got 2 discussion points that I want to talk about. And then we'll come into the upcoming round and my tips as well. I'm definitely going to be telling you guys my tips for this week. The Ezra Mam situation? What do you mean the Ezra Mam situation? I'm not talking about Ezra Mam. Although I will say this, Cooper Cronk actually brings up a valid point. I actually kind of agree with him. The fact that that Ezra Mam could come back into the side, and honestly, like the fact that he could come back into the side, hi bunny guys, he can come back from suspension. I don't think you should play him. Like, you've got Ben Hunt at 6. Ben Hunt is absolutely outstanding. Bunny's guy, I've already talked about the Rabbitohs and Dolphins game. I actually said the Dolphins could have won if Jamona Sarko got 2 of his kicks. Taylor May got his suspension downgraded. I did hear about that. Not the main talking point of the weeks. There's actually 2. There's one that is definitely the talking point, which you guys can probably figure out what it is. And the second one I kind of want to just bring a light on, honestly. It was meant to return round 10, but now it's round 10. Damn. That's insane. Rugby League Live 5 thoughts. I don't know if it's going to be called Rugby League Live 5, but I'm actually really keen. We're going to do a lot of videos on that, so I'm going to try and keep that that discussion a little bit down. I am trying to secure a guest for a future episode of the Galaxsi Scrum, and we are going to talk about the game. Dylan Brown at the Knights. We are talking about that one, Bunnies guys. Any other comments around round 1? I will give you guys 1 more minute to make any comments. Okay, we're not... Okay, can we not talk about Taylor May, please? We'll talk about the Taylor May in another situation. What is going on with that? I am actually curious. Please don't say. Overpriced contract. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about it. Don't worry about that. All right. We're going to move on to we're going to move on to this week's topics. So this is the next part of the podcast. We're going to talk about, we've got 2 discussion points that I want to talk about with you guys in chat. And I also want to talk about on stream. So the first one, and probably, I think this has just been confirmed as the podcast is live. It's been confirmed by the NRL. I don't think it's been confirmed by Newcastle themselves, though. No, it's not been confirmed by Newcastle, but it's been confirmed by the NRL. It's happening. Okay. Bunny's Guy 21 says, the Knights played sloppy against the Tigers and the game was more sloppy than my hair. Wow. That's an interesting comment. Okay. Yeah, I actually think the Knights were pretty sloppy. I think the Tigers were a bit mixed up. I think they didn't know what they were doing, but I think it's going to take a while for them to kind of drive a little bit. Jerome Luai is already back in the news, been like, oh, he's moving clubs and shit like that. Like, guys, give him a break. He's only had 1 round. It's only 1 round. Like, come on. I will just say this. I will say this. It seems like every single damn time something just happens to a club, the reporters just jump right on that. Like, anyway, let's move on to this week's topics. The first topic, everyone's talking about this. Everyone is talking about this. Dylan Brown mega deal. Dylan Brown has reportedly signed a record-breaking 10-year, $13 million deal with the Newcastle Knights, starting in 2026. Despite the speculation he remains committed to the Eels for the 2025 season, this mega deal has raised concerns about the Knights' long-term strategy, especially considering the risk if Brown faces injury. It's a bold move that could either pay off tremendously or pose significant challenges. I'm going to also, I've got a few people talking in chat, but I'm also going to say this as well. I actually think doing a 10-year deal in any circumstances is a bad idea. Look at Tino, for example. Look at Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. He has signed on 10 years for the Gold Coast Titans, and he's already spent one of those years injured. Like, I think he was injured like round 3 or something. Like, he was basically gone. Like, he was basically gone for the entire season after that. I feel like if you sign 10 years, I feel like you need to have a contingency plan. But, yeah, a lot of people are concerned about the Newcastle Knights, about how they've gone about this. I will say this. I'm going to pull up Dylan Brown's stats right now. I think, honestly, we can have a look. Dylan Brown... by the way, Jackson Hastings was next to him. Where is he? Dylan Brown is 24 years old. He's from New Zealand. His debut club was for Eels in 2019 in round 1 against the Penrith Panthers. Wow, nice matchup there. He's only appeared one. Oh, that's not in total. So he, in his first 4 years, by the way, in his first 4 years as a Parramatta Eel, he has had a win percentage of above 60%. In 2019, he played 15 games. In 2020, he played 18. 21, he played 21. And 22, he played 28, including a grand final, which they got decimated in. Brown doesn't deserve a new contract after the incident. We're past that. Bro, us Knights will finally win the premiership. Everyone's saying like, we're getting a lot of comments about Newcastle's brain being smooth. I actually had a chat about with someone about this at work today, and quite honestly, they brought up some really good points. And I think they're trying to, I think they've kind of like delved into this, and they've kind of gone, well, actually, this could be a good deal. If this works out for Newcastle, this could be a very big brain play. However, like, that depends on Kalen Ponga, like how Kalen Ponga goes. If Dylan Brown and Kalen Ponga actually like mix and they do really well and they stay injury free, I think Newcastle are going to be a threat. I think the one thing that Newcastle have struggled with throughout their entire, throughout the last couple of seasons is their halves combination. Let's see, they've had Jackson Hastings, Tyson Gamble. Kalen Ponga's been in there, but they've decided, no, he stays at fullback. What else? So Kalen Ponga, Jack Cogger, Fletcher Sharp is now in there, I think. And then they've had one other. Like, they've had 6 different halves in the last 2 years. Like, that's absolutely bonkers if you think about it. Just pick a halves combination and stick with it, you know? Yeah, shut up, Bunnies guy. What's the Brown incident? Oh, I think he did something back in round. He did something back in, I think, last year or the year before. But Moses, the thing is that Brown got stood down and then Moses got injured for the rest of the season. So Eels were done. On that day, Dylan Brown pleaded guilty to 2 charges of touching another person without consent. Yes. Yeah, that's the Dylan Brown incident. Also, I don't know if he did actually plead guilty. So, but yeah, we're trying to move past that right now. But yeah, I think this could I feel like this is more of a coin flip, if I'm being completely honest with you all. If it goes well for Newcastle, they could actually be a threat. I think they could be a top 4 side. However, if it doesn't go well, then they have a serious problem, which could screw them for the next 10 years, if you think about it. Now, the question is that will Adam O'Brien still be coaching the Newcastle Knights in 10 years or 5 to 10 years? Who was their last? Who was Newcastle's last coach? I think it was like Nathan Brown or something, wasn't it? What was that behind me? A ball. You guys are like seeing like there's a spider or something. Gosh, you guys are scaring me. Yeah, it's it's just a game ball. Someone bought that for me. Unfortunately, we're not friends anymore. Anxiety, silly. But that's okay. But yeah, I feel like this could really be a flip of the coin. If I'm being completely honest. But that kind of leads into my second discussion point. Now that Dylan Brown is leaving the Eels, what is their halves combination going to be? Obviously, they have Moses. Moses is a really good solution. Like, obviously, Moses is a good half, which will definitely say that. If I'm being like Dylan, like Mitchell Moses is a really good 7. Who goes with him at 6? This is my proposal for a 6, and I'm just going to warn you: if you're a Tigers fan, mute right now because you're not going to like this. Lachie Galvin. I think Lachlan Galvin is set to become a free agent on November 1st, as the West Tigers may struggle to retain him. With Dylan Brown now leaving the Parramatta Eels, an opportunity arises for Galvin to return to their system and partner with Mitchell Moses in the halves. This potential move would significantly boost for the Eels while dealing another blow to their rivals, the West Tigers. Burton is off contract a little bit longer. Toby Sexton is also off contract at the end of this year. Matt, there was something there. What? What the hell? You guys are scaring me. You guys are actually scaring me right now. I'm actually looking. I have to look at the camera right now. What did you say, Matt Pat? Oh gosh. You guys are scaring me. Stop it. Stop it. You guys are scaring me. Unless it's like a spider or something. Wishart. Unless it's like, I don't know. I'm actually looking. Honestly, if it's a robber, he can kill me. It's fine. I don't care. And he just walks in. Oh yeah, thank you. But if it's a spider, then I'll freak out because it's like, ugh, hate those things. There was a flash. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So Lachie Galvin. Hello Blake, how you doing? Lachie Galvin. So he's set to become a free agent. So if Lachie Galvin moves to the Eels, I think that could be the landing spot for him. And he's also already in talks. Like, he's already from the Parramatta system. So this could be a good return for him. And then he becomes the hero of Parramatta instead of the hero of the West Tigers. Now, there's another club that could actually go for him, and that is the Bulldogs. While the Bulldogs appear less likely to pursue Galvin due to their current halves pairing of Matt Burton and Toby Sexton, Burton's contract duration and Sexton's future could create an opening. If Sexton departs, Galvin could emerge as a viable option for the Bulldogs, adding another layer of intrigue to the situation. Let's, guys, calm down. Pancake, calm down. Pancake Gamer 037. Yeah, stop that. Para also, Bunny's Guy says Para signed Wishart. That's also another option as well. Here's another option for all of you folks right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this option. Here's another option out of those two clubs. Here's a third club that he could land at. Dolphins. That would potentially create a question around Sean O'Sullivan. And I think there's someone else there as well. I think it would put a question mark around Sean O'Sullivan. But definitely, like, can you imagine a halves partnering of Lachie Galvin at 6 and at 7 Isaiah Katoa? Like, that would be absolutely insane. Like, that would be an absolute bonkers of a that would be a bonkers halves pairing, if I'm being completely honest with you. What do you guys think of that? Liam Porter says, what's up? How's the Broncos going to round 5? I'm pretty sure round 5 is against the Tigers. I think they can actually go 5 straight. Actually, the Broncos could go 5 straight again. If they go 5 straight, that's a very good sign that they're going to get to the grand final. Very good sign. Or it might be too good to call. Wait, now I hear things, guys. You got. Someone is saying, K-Dogs NZ says, hot take, Panthers won't make the top 4. I think they will make the top 4 after their performance in Vegas. I don't think it'll be the top 2, but I think it'll still be top 4. Okay. So, yeah, so the fact that Dylan Brown could actually, oh, I know what we can talk about. So Pancake Gamer in Sports says, oh, I know what we can talk about. Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt being the oldest halves partner pairing in the league. What does that say for every other half the Dolphin has? There's like 32 of them. I'm pretty sure, one, some of them don't have the experience. And two, the Dolphins, and two, the only halves depth that they have. Oh, actually, no, they have Jake Averillo too. Jake Averillo is also an option. And he actually played decently in the, he actually played pretty decent in the trials at 5'8". Like, that's pretty decent. Like, if you think about it. That's the first one, not the second one, though. And that's pretty, pretty good. Hot take, Bunny sneak into the 8 and lose in week 1. That's from Bunny's guy. Clip that, please. So let's also talk about, so yeah, with Dylan Brown potentially leaving the Parramatta Eels, I definitely see Lockie Galvin going there. I think that's going to be really cool. I think that's going to be a really interesting halves combination if that happens. Mitchell Moses and Lockie Galvin. Let's also talk about, I think the third thing, and actually Pancake Gamer brings up a good point. The oldest halves combination in the league right now is Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds. And I want to mention this, Cooper Cronk, and I said this just before. Cooper Cronk says, if Ezra Mam comes back from suspension, where do you play him? You just can't. If Ben Hunt is doing really well at 6, you keep him there. Ben Hunt is just like, he played really well against the Roosters the other day. Now, if it turns out Ezra Mam could be a very better choice, which honestly, the only people that can actually tell if Ezra Mam is a better choice than Ben Hunt is the Broncos coaching staff. We can't say anything right now, but we can make assumptions. But I definitely agree with Cooper Cronk. If Ezra Mam comes back, why move Ben Hunt? And don't forget, play Hunt 9. Corey Pakes is doing well. Like, you wouldn't even want to remove Corey Pakes. Like, he's absolutely great. Pakes almost got my MVP, by the way. Corey Pakes. Like, he was genuinely almost my MVP was Corey Pakes. If I had to pick a rookie MVP, it would have been Corey Pakes. You also got Billy Walters, which he played decently as well. And then you've also got Blake Moser as well. Those three hookers. I think you got some good hookers there. You could play Ezra Mam as a utility player if you really want to. He could play a lock forward if you really want to get there. He is pretty tiny though. Can we talk about Payne Haas real quick? I already talked about him earlier in the stream, Bunny's guy. Just want to say that. Better choice than Billy. Yeah. Matt, I think your house is haunted. Stop scaring me. Guys. Put Pakes on the bench. Pakes could actually, yeah. I think Moser would be a good choice. I think, honestly, when Moser comes back, I think he'd be a better 9 for the Broncos. And then maybe put Pakes on the bench. And that's no disrespect to Billy Walters. All of them are good. But Moser could definitely do some damage. But Ezra Mam, I feel like with that halves combination. Also, by the way, I just want to say this. The Broncos struggled with their halves combination over the last 2 years. They've solved the problem. They are legitimately in a good place right now with their halves. If Adam Reynolds goes down, Ben Hunt. And here's another thing too. If Adam Reynolds goes down, how do you play that halves combination? Do you put Ben Hunt at 7 and Ezra Mam at 6? Or do you bring Ben Hunt at 7 or bringing Jock Madden? Like, there's a lot of questions about this halves combination. I'm kind of keen to see how this goes. It's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos go with their halves partnering this year. So yeah, that's going to do it for the topics of this week. Does anyone have any other things that they want to mention? I know some people want me to talk about the Taylor May incident, the Taylor May stuff, but I don't think I want to, if I'm being completely honest. Madden after last year is questionable. What happens if they both get injured? Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds? Oh, yeah, that's season over. That's season over. Ezra can do the Tyron Wishart role. Yeah, I think that's also an option that they could do. Boo Taylor May. Here's an interesting thought about the Taylor May if he does come back. Where do you guys see him play? What club does he play for? Does he go back to the Panthers? There's a rumor he could be going to the Tigers. Because if he goes to the Tigers, holy shit. That could be deadly. I think also there's one other brother he has, one of the May brothers. Tigers maybe. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Tigers. So, let's get in to the final part of this, final part of the podcast. The final part, the upcoming round, and the next tips for next week. I just want to check something because I want to actually see if I've not missed anything. Nope. Here we go. Hold on, that's wrong. Damn it, I don't have notes. The Travojevic brothers. No, we're not going to talk about though. Okay. Let's get in. No, that's wrong. Or is that right? Hang on. That might be right. Oh, that is right. Okay. Let's get in to the final part of the podcast. Yes. Let's get into the final part of the podcast. The upcoming rounds and the tips. You guys get to find out my tips right now. So, I'm actually going to split this video. So, heyo, and welcome to my tipping video for the week. Now, I've decided to actually do this, and as you can see, I have the Galaxsi Scrum, actually, it's down there. I have the Galaxsi Scrum logo down here. I'm actually doing this during a stream, so if you guys want to come and check that out, link is, just subscribe to the channel and go check out the podcast. You can easily find the Galaxsi Scrum stuff. This is the end of the podcast, by the way, so you're going to miss this part, but that's okay. So, we're going to get into the tips and predictions for round 2 of 2025. Let's get started. Starting off first in the first game of the round is the Knights and the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a really strong lineup returning and are looking for redemption from the last year's final round. They show promise in their close game against the Rabbitohs, and with their key players back like Mark Nichols and Cody Nikorima, I feel like they are poised for a victory here. So my first tip for round 2 is Dolphins 1-12. I know Newcastle, by the way, are actually in a good spot to win this game as well. But I actually think they could, if they continue being sloppy as they did against the Tigers, I feel like the Dolphins can actually smash them. This could potentially become a bloodbath if the Dolphins are very dominant, and if they are able to utilize Hamaso and also able to use their Cody Nikorima and also Mark Nichols with their bench. And quite honestly, there wasn't really a bad player for the Dolphins last week, except maybe the one guy who missed all his conversions, except one. Not going to say who it is, but you could probably figure it out. But yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins 1-12. I'm also going to pick some try scorers as well. I'll probably do this before the podcast as well. Before the podcast next time. My anytime try scorer for the Dolphins will be Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow. I'm going to just go with the Hammer himself, just to start off basic. Then we move on to the Warriors and the Sea Eagles game. The Sea Eagles were dominant against the Cowboys last week and are fielding a very strong, consistent lineup. I feel like their recent form against the Cowboys is going to be too strong for the Warriors. Now, the Warriors, this could be a difference. The Warriors are playing back at home and they are celebrating Tohu Harris's farewell, which is absolutely fine. But I feel like because of how dominant the Sea Eagles were against the Cowboys, I definitely feel like the Manly Ring Sea Eagles are definitely going to take this one. And I feel like it's going to be a dominant win. So I'm going to go with Sea Eagles 13 plus. And my try scorer will be, we'll go Brooksy. We'll go Brooksy for try scorer for this week. For the Manly Ring Sea Eagles. Coming to the third game of this round is the Panthers versus the Roosters. With Brian Toto returning and the Roosters missing key players, the Panthers are expected to dominate. Their strong performance in the opening round adds to their favor. And honestly, how the Roosters performed last week, I definitely think they've got a really tough start. They've got a really tough start, the Roosters, if I'm being completely honest. So, you guys already figured out this is a really simple one. Panthers 13 plus. K-Dog says, Waz win easily. I don't know about that. I feel like the Sea Eagles were too strong for the Cowboys. By the way, I just feel like they were like too strong. By the way, I'm pretty sure if I look at the history, yeah, last year in April, these two teams met in New Zealand and it was a draw. Just saying. Who made a fake account? I don't know. Wait. Do we have another? Oh, do we have another one, really? Oh. Right. They're 2K dog, by the way. Oh, okay. That's so dumb. So is that the person, by the way, who's just deleted their stuff? Yeah. That person can go. Yeah, you should be good. Just want to make sure I got the right person. Hold on. Okay, cool. Cool. It's the old pancake. Well, he's gone now. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, did he really? Ah, yep, that guy's gone. Yeah, that guy's gone for good. That guy's gone for good. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. We have the Dragons v the Rabbitohs. Despite the Dragons being favorites, I've actually decided to go with the Rabbitohs on this one. I think they showed real resilience against the Dolphins. Now, they did win that game, but I definitely think they're going to have a real strong contest here. But you know that factor of the Wayne Bennett stuff. You know that. Even with Jack Whiten out, I feel like they will have enough firepower to secure the win. And so I'm going Rabbitohs in a close one, 1-12. And by the way, I just need to rewind to the last game for a second. I forgot to pick the try scorer, which I'm going to go Brian Toto. Like, how can you not go Brian Toto? On return, you have to. Like, come on. Okay, so for the Dragons v Rabbitohs game, I'm going to go... let's go Campbell Graham for a meat pie. Campbell Graham for a meat pie. And now heading up to sunny Queensland, we have the Cowboys versus the Cronulla Sharks. with how the Cowboys performed last week, I am actually not confident in tipping them, even if they're at home. The Sharks are in good form and maintaining an unchanged lineup. Their consistency and recent performances give them a strong edge over the Cowboys, especially against the reigning premiers, the Penrith Panthers, which I actually think they came close to actually beating them. So I think the Cowboys are going to really struggle with this game going forward. So I've decided to tip Sharks 13+. There is a lot of blowouts this game. This round, I'm just going to say that. And my anytime try scorer is going to be... You know what? We'll bag Nico Hines to get a meat pie. How about that? And now heading back down to Canberra, we have the Raiders taking on the mighty Brisbane Broncos. The Broncos are in form, but the Raiders could actually provide a challenge. Now, I actually think the Raiders are going to give them a real run this time, even without their two, I think, Xavier Savage and Joseph Tarpanay. Now, I was actually considering tipping the Broncos to win 13+, but I'm going to give credit to the Raiders here, and I'm going to say Broncos 1-12. My anytime try scorer for the Broncos is going to be Shibasaki. Dude had a good game. A dude had an actually decent game for the Broncos last week. Not going to lie. So I'm going to jump on Shibasaki for the meat pie. But I definitely think the Raiders are going to give him a nice run. The Raiders are always competitive. Like, I'll give them that. A lot of people, by the way, I just want to say, I don't understand why the Raiders have the wooden spin. Like, oh, they don't have any star players and stuff. Dude, Ricky has a way. Like, you wouldn't put Storm in the bottom 8. Like, even if Storm lost all the key players, you still wouldn't put Storm in the bottom 8. You just don't. Well, the Storm have a good system. Raiders have a decent system as well. So I definitely think the Raiders will give the Broncos a run. I still think the Broncos will win, but I think the Broncos will have a bit of a decent run. And I actually do imagine that there could be some damage done in this game, if I'm being completely honest with you. So Broncos 1-12, Shibasaki for the meat pie. And we now head over to Sunday afternoon at CommBank Stadium. It is a derby between the Eels and the West Tigers. Easter came early this time, I guess. With key players returning for the Tigers, Api Coruscant and Jareen Buller, I expect them to win this one. The fact that, by the way, Eels still don't have Moses, and Talangi is actually going to be, they've lost Talangi as well. So that's quite interesting. And quite honestly, I think the Tigers are actually in a very good spot to win this. And I feel like they're going to really ramp up Parramatta here. So I think this is definitely going to be a close one. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers win in a blowout. So I'm going to go Tigers 1-12. And we're going to jump on... let's go Toa. Star for Toa for a meat pie. Also, hello, Naya, the Draco thing. How you doing today? Welcome on in. And the final game of Sunday afternoon, we have at Belmore Sports Ground at 5:15 in the afternoon, in the evening, the Bulldogs versus the bye-rested Gold Coast Titans. This is a Belmore game. Last year, I tipped the Titans to win in this game. I actually made a short on this. And I knew as soon as I tipped, I'm like, I've screwed up. I literally went, I tipped against the Bulldogs at Belmore. What is wrong with me? So yeah, I'm going Bulldogs 13+. They're playing at their spiritual home ground. The Bulldogs are expected to perform strongly and secure a decisive victory. I actually think the Bulldogs will be wearing their heritage jersey for this game, by the way. Pretty sure. They might not be. I would imagine they wear their heritage jersey for this one. Nope, doesn't look like it. I guess I look silly. I do think the Titans. The only reason I'm tipping Bulldogs, by the way, is because I feel like I don't have enough information to tip the Titans. This will be RCG's first debut of the club, so I definitely think this is going to be really interesting to see. But I just don't have enough information for the Titans to tip them strongly. Now, if they come out and beat the Bulldogs at Belmore, that's an accomplishment. But I think it's going to be a challenge. So that's why I'm tipping Bulldogs to win that game. And for our try scorer, we're going to jump on... let's jump on... who should we jump on? Connor, let's jump on the fullback, Connor Tracy. We're going to go Connor Tracy for our anytime meat pie. And that's going to do it for the tips, folks. So, recalling Dolphins 1 to 12, Seagulls 13 plus, Panthers 13 plus, Rabbitohs 1 to 12, Broncos 1 to 12, Tigers 1 to 12, and Bulldogs 13 plus. That's going to do it for my tips and predictions. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and comment down your tips down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tip video. And also, make sure you tune in to the Galaxy Scrum. Toodles! All right, so that's going to do it for the podcast. That's going to do it for the podcast, folks. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you all coming out. I hope you guys had an amazing time. I'm going to try and get this up on Spotify as soon as I can. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I am quite keen to get this up. We'll try and get the first one up as well very soon. MMO is my favorite person here, says Nio. Rugby says Mr. Luke is live and it's 16-0. Nah, I did the simulation on Rugby League Live 4, 2025 grand final teams with the Titans and Storm, LOL. So guys, that is going to do it for the podcast. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you know when the Galaxy Scrum goes live. We're going to be live every Wednesday or the day before the round starts. So if the round starts on a Friday, we will be live on a Thursday. And if the round starts on, I don't know, a Tuesday, we'll start on we'll be streaming on a Monday. Be weird if it did that, but I don't know. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning into the Galaxy Scrum tonight. Appreciate you all as always. Hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Toodles. Thanks for watching. There it is. Yes, you can talk to me on Discord, Pancake. Not on voice though, because I've got to do a bit of editing.